Hello, and welcome to another Win Daily Sports Show. My name is Michael Brazil. I got my man Ghost here with me, and we are breaking down this wonderful Tuesday NBA 11 game slate. It's either fives or tens plus, it feels like to us. So we're having fun doing it. We are here. We are Win Daily Sports. We're here to help you make a lot of money doing the thing that you love the most, which is watching sports. We're going to go over some bets that I think will be kind of fun. We're going to go over, obviously, the entire slate. Make sure if you haven't already, go smash that like button. How was that one, Ghostman? Was that good?
Yeah, that one was pretty fun. And back to back strong ones. I like that.
There we go. We'll try and bring it every day this week. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Make sure to subscribe because, heck, how else are you here? And also make sure to follow us on Twitter. Him at DFS _ Ghost. There we go. Me at Michael Brazil 1. Us at Win Daily Sports. We still have our Win Daily Sports NBA season pass, $150, 7 months. It's about $20 a month. We'll make you much more money than that. I can promise you. And hopefully everyone took my bet last night. Nets plus 4.5. I kind of wish I told everyone to take the money line, but hey, if they're going to give us points, we'll take the points. We'll run with it. Other than that, we are here and we are ready to go. Ghostman, how excited are you? 11 game slate, another big one.
I like these ones because a lot of people end up getting overwhelmed. It's very easy to get flustered. And you know what? If you plant your flag and you follow the strategy and you end up planting it in the right places, they end up being extremely profitable. So definitely a fan of these big slates.
How did Talon Horton Tucker do for us last night?
Ended up getting 15 DK points, and he was actually in the winning line. So you know what? That was one thing that I wanted to mention too, because we had some guys they were debating in Discord the top two values right after we got on air. One of them came up right away, which we ended up seeing, which was Horton Tucker. And then right after we got the Nets news that they shifted their starting lineup on us, we had Bruce Brown skyrocket up there as well. So people were kind of debating, and Brian, Adam, and I were like, hey, play both. The world opens up for you when you're playing $2,000-$3,000 players. So just jam in both. And then that's when a lot of people were asking me about Kawhi. Why is he so high on the model throughout the day? I was like, look, this thing knows things that sometimes it doesn't know. Then next thing you know, Paul George gets ruled out, and Kawhi Leonard's 60-point projection all of a sudden makes a whole lot more sense to everybody. So it was definitely fun to have Kawhi in my main lineup without people absolutely obliterating his ownership there. So that was fun. And THG was in the winning lineup because it just let you open up to value to all these studs. So it was absolutely nice to see getting Bruce Brown at low ownership as well. He was at six times his value at halftime. So it was another great day for us.
That helps. Everybody that played Kyrie, please thank Ghost for that one. I think we talked about Jared Allen last night as well. He did pretty darn well. So there was a lot of fun to be had on that slate last night. And I think, again, it's going to be a little, you say you like these, and a lot of people, as you say, they get overwhelmed. And it does make it a little bit more difficult on these bigger slates because obviously there's so many more players. Right? There's like 200 plus players that we could legitimately choose from, maybe a little less than 200, but let's call it a solid 170 players you can legitimately choose from and start to make arguments for. So as you say, it's always nice. You get to plant your flag somewhere. You did tell everybody to play Kawhi. How the model knew Paul George was going to be out, I'm not here. I'm not a wizard, and I don't think you are either, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you are a wizard, and you made this thing very magical. So let's get in it. I don't see anybody in the chat right now. That's starting to freak me out a little bit. Please ask us questions. We're literally here for you. We'll go game by game. As you saw last night, I think Ghost and I were on here for over an hour. Most of the time, just asking and answering questions. So please ask us all the questions you have. Send us some lineups. Don't just say thoughts. Give us a little bit of context, but probably not going to happen. So just send us over the lineups anyway, and we'll be able to go and help break it down for you guys. So we'll just start. Indy and Houston. Weird start time for Houston, 7:00. I guess we'll take it, whatever. Indiana is favored by 2 points. Over under sits at 225 and a half. James Harden, Domantas Sabonis. This actually seems like it might be a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is a game that's going to go under the radar. Despite it being one of the 7:00 games, a lot of people are turning towards a couple games that we're going to get into in a little bit. So this is still flying under the radar. A lot of low ownership studs that you could have in this game. And when I'm talking about getting different with your studs, this could be the game that ends up knocking you out of the park today. So getting a 1-2 punch between Domantas Sabonis or Malcolm Brogdon and running it back with John Wall or James Harden, depending on how expensive you want to go and how much value you have open to us with just over an hour leading up to lock. there's a lot of firepower to be had in this game. Domantas Sabonis, again, I'll keep saying it every time we talk about him. He's the most underrated power forward in the league. Very similar playing style to Nikola Jokic. He could dish the rock very well, and he should be able to control the post on both ends of the court here tonight. So his price has come down a little bit, which is nice. Even if it's a couple $100, we'll gladly take the savings and move on. James Harden at 11K, he's going to be consistently under-owned on every slate just because of what John Wall now brings to this offense. I mean, we saw what happened last season. The only time James Harden was really pulling like some massive ownership numbers was when Russell Westbrook was out. But now you have instead of having a 10K Russell Westbrook playing with an 11K James Harden, you have a 7.4K John Wall. So a lot of people end up turning towards that. There's a lot of leverage to be had any slate that you play James Harden, and I'm definitely not going to say no. I have a minimum of at least one lineup with him every single time that he's on the slate because he's one of, if not the only player that every single time that he takes the court, he could go for 80.
It's James Harden, people. It is James Harden. And there we go. I showed a little concern, and we have people all over. Shane, I hear staring at your beautiful faces. So we appreciate you saying Gary is here. One of our favorites, Rusling Paving and Concrete.
For all your paving and concrete needs.
I was more impressed with the Beverly projection last night. Yeah, I heard that did pretty darn well too. Shane admits that he can't spell. Happy to hear that. We have Wood is game time decision. So this is a pretty good question. If Wood is out, does that change the Miles or Sabonis projections? And then he puts thoughts because I think he just heard that I said, please don't ask thoughts. So respect it. Respect the game. Respect the game.
You'll likely see Sabonis's projection go up a little bit. Turner might actually come down with Wood being out there. Less opportunity for Miles Turner to get his defensive stats. So it really depends how the model ends up calculating who's going to see who and for how many minutes, and it'll be able to adjust accordingly. But if I had to just go based off of the way that it's been acting in the past, look for Sabonis to go up a little bit. Weaker matchup on the offensive end for him, whereas Miles Turner might actually come down in the slightest manner just because less opportunity to get blocks and stuff like that. Boogie is more likely to pick up an offensive foul in that case than for him to drive to the basket and for Miles Turner to get a block and then possibly a defensive rebound.
You'll love it. You'll love it. I think this guy's trolling us a little bit, but I don't think he knows that I'm a huge Duke fan, and he goes Jabari Duke. So like, damn, wish you stayed, man. Wish you stayed. All right. So this game, I mean, we do have a bet for this one. It's Indy -2. I don't know how. I'm not super confident in it, but our house capper is very confident in it. So if I was anybody out there listening, just take the money. Capper Steve's pretty damn good at what he does.
Make sure to keep an eye on Christian Wood. Last comment about that game. If he is ruled out, Boogie's likely going to get the start. So take a look at the model and see how many minutes it's projecting him for all of a sudden. But again, they might go really small here, and that's where James Harden and John Wall could be X factors on this slate.
To the model, which is you're going to hear that a lot tonight. I have the model pulled up too, so don't worry. We're checking it out. All right, Cleveland and Orlando. Magic favored by 5.5 at home. Very small, 214.5 over under. I think it's the lowest on the slate. No, it's not. I forgot about the Knicks. That's on me, guys. That's on me. How do you like this game? Drummond, Vucevic. Didn't we just play this game like last night?
Yeah, we just ended up going back to this matchup, and I said Vuce is going to be able to do his thing out there, and we could actually pull up his game log as I'm talking about it because I don't know the exact amount of points, but I remember I had him in my lineup, and I was a very happy man that night. So getting 47 DK out of Vuce at his price is always nice. So you could go right back to the well here, just being able to add his 3-point shot. I remember seeing your face, how surprised you were that not a lot of people know about Vuce's 3-pointer now. So Drummond's not going to venture out there to the 3-point line. There's no way he'll ever do that. Not today, not an end point in his career. So getting Vuce out there as an under-owned stud as well. But I'm more targeting the mid-range and value in this game. Yes, Colin Sexton didn't perform up to our lofty expectations. I'll put that on his birthday. But this is a spot where everybody remains out. Darius Garland is out, and they have a ton of injuries on the wing. Kevin Love is also out. Not that impacts too much Colin Sexton in terms of minutes, but it's more sort of just his usage that whenever Drummond's not touching the ball, Colin Sexton's going to have the ball in his hands. So this is another good spot for him. And Aaron Gordon, again, is still underpriced. Both DraftKings and FanDuel refuse to move his price up. Keep an eye out to see if he's still on a minutes restriction, but even then, he's been so efficient that should Evan Fournier miss this one, guys like Aaron Gordon, Vooch, and Terrence Ross are going to be counted on extremely heavily. Michael Carter-Williams is also out, so Even the value in this game is even guys like that are being ruled out. So I would expect Aaron Gordon to see a slight bump up in minutes, and he would be my primary target here with Colin Sexton.
Love it. This is a good question from Calvin. Anyone see Curry with 62? I mean,
yeah,
do you
I was
know
watching that game
I forgot to tell you. I went and I looked at the MVP odds. They went to Steph Curry's now at like plus 1,600. So your boy put a couple extra dollars on him for you, just for you, man. Plus 1,600. How somehow they doubled. He had like 2 bad games. The people went bananas, and then this dude goes out, scores 62. Yeah, I'll put like $5 on that. Get out of here.
See, like if that's the reaction that people are having, I wonder if Luka got into that territory too.
Nope, Luka is still the highest at plus 400.
So that just like a quick comment, because we can't talk about that there. We have 800 games to talk about. But
that's true. Sorry,
Luka's playing way worse than Curry right now.
Mm-hmm.
His team is looking way worse than the Warriors are.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he's still, anyways.
People are talking.
I'll take advantage. I'll double down. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah, Rusling Paving and Concrete.
For all your paving and concrete needs. Yes, Gary Clark is going to start for Evan Fournier. It's greasy, but whatever the model says, at 30, I believe it's 3,200 or 3,100. Gary Clark, if he pops in the model, go for it. James Ennis, I would stay away for now, just based on minutes. If he's popping in the model, that means that he's predicted to play a lot of minutes, then roll it. But if not, he's likely going to be on a minutes restriction. This guy hasn't hooped in a really long time.
Washington at Philadelphia. Sixers favored by 6.5. Over under is a nice 234.5. So it's a big total. We love to see that. What do you like from this game? I mean, remember last year when Westbrook was a lock every time Harden's not in? Well, Westbrook never has to play with Harden anymore. So is he still just the lock button at this point?
Not in this spot. Not versus Ben Simmons. Unfortunately, not versus Ben Simmons. I'm not going to the wall there. And there's a couple other better point guards that are projected for more points, more minutes, and just in better game environments as well. More talented players too that are even cheaper than him. So this game exposure starts and ends with the top 4. If you are going anybody from this game, you got to load up on the studs and pray that they just go absolutely bonkers. Bradley, the one person that I will point out is Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is way too cheap, and at 9K, this is still his offense. He still has a higher usage rate than Russ. This is a guy that at any point in time, he could go 50 plus. And when he's only 9K, you're not hoping for 50 plus from somebody in the 10K range now. Now he's at 9K, very affordable. A lot of people playing Zach LaVine at 8,300. You could keep the exact same lineup structure and go up to Bradley Beal at 9K and get extremely different.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking for at least times 5, right, from these higher dudes that are up here. And I mean, if he goes for 54 points, that's much bigger than times 5. You're sitting real pretty. That's what, times 6 at that point? Look at me in math, baby. Let's go. Let's go. So again, if anybody has some questions out there, hit us. That's what we love to do. Charlotte and Atlanta. This one might be fun. Yeah, plus -6. Charlotte. I'm sorry. Charlotte traveling to Atlanta. Hawks favored by 6. Over under 232.5. Trae Young's been doing his thing. Gordon Hayward has not been bad. Let's all just be honest. He hasn't been bad. He hasn't been great, but he hasn't been bad. 7,400 is in a spot. I mean, do the Hawks play defense yet? I don't remember. I don't think so, right?
No, they don't play D.
I didn't think so.
They don't play any D. Trae Young's out there doing his thing. He's one of my favorite targets on the entire slate. The main issue here is that I like to run it back with a star, and Charlotte doesn't really have one other than
what do you mean?
Ball.
I was going to say, your boy.
I'm getting there. But you know what I mean? Like, there's no Steph Curry, Dame Lillard 1-2 stack. There's no Kawhi, Steph. There's no there's none of that, right? So the one concern that I have about here is that Atlanta just goes absolutely berserk. But like, Atlanta doesn't play D, so. Like as long as Charlotte doesn't shoot like 25% from the field, which in that case it's again, we're talking about, playing lineups based on controllables. You can't control whether Charlotte goes 25% from the field or not. So I really like this mini game stack. Trae Young is by far my top target, or one of on the entire NBA slate. I will have exposure to LaMelo Ball on DK, especially when he gets close, if not possibly drops a triple double tonight. I'm still evaluating that one. Might take the over on the PRA. So we'll take a look at that. This is a great spot for him. He's going to be able to push the pace. Trae Young likes to play fast too. So they'll be going back and forth. I also like Clint Capella. He should be able to body Bismack in the post all game long. And yes, I was just man, it's scary. Yeah. It's like you're in my brain right now.
Or maybe he's in the model.
This is a guy. Yeah, that dude. This is a guy that if you told me play a power forward or a center, you say he's center eligible on DK again. It's kind of like Giannis. He never logs a single minute at center, PJ Washington, but for some reason he's center eligible, but we'll take it. If you told me 11 game slate, my power forward or center would be PJ Washington, I'd look at you and say you're crazy, but he's really cheap. He's really, really cheap. So in an up-paced game where going up against John Collins,
yeah,
you know the updates are going to come. I'm
here for it.
In the other aspect, you can also play John Collins in this matchup because PJ Washington is terrible on defense. Terrible. Beyond terrible. So you could do a little run back there and forth, but my main Hawks exposure here is going to be Trae Young. DeAndre Hunter is also playable in a game like this. You go back to Cam Reddish, high octane, fast paced guy too, but I definitely prefer DeAndre Hunter. Seems like he's coming into his own and really finding his groove on the offensive end, which is big because he's a great 3-and-D wing prospect for his ability on the defensive end of the court. But now that he's finding his groove on offense, he's definitely fun to watch now too. So the guys that are on the screen right now are going to be my main exposure to this game, but it starts and ends with Trae Young. That's 100% sure. And then looking forward to a little bit of exposure with either PJ Washington or LaMelo Ball, possibly both. But PJ's really cheap. I gotta think a couple times about that before I submit him into my main lineup. But as of right now, he is in there.
You love to see it. And now, one thing you said about concerning this game was, what if the Hawks do just absolutely blow them out? Well, I'm giving away more information than I'm supposed to, but that's what we're here to do. We're here to help the people. Capper Steve has the Hornets plus 2.5. He's got them for 2.5 units. So when Capper Steve has a unit, my units and his units, and Ghost, I think your units are just a little different. Capper Steve knows what's going on. His units are pretty big, so he puts a couple dollars on the line. I take all of his bets. I've been making some money. I know you do. Sometimes Ghost has hunch too, and that's fine. We all have different ideas, different models, but Hornets plus 6.5. Hopefully that means that they keep the game nice and close, and that means we all get to make a bunch of money. So go take that bet while you're out there too. Let's look at Boston and Miami. Boston Heat are favored by 3 after we just saw the Celtics beat the shit out of your Tampa Bay Raptors the other night. But the over-under sits at 218. Sorry, was that too mean? I didn't mean to do that.
And no, because it won us some money.
True.
We had our little same game parlay, so that was fun. It won us some money. The spread was too big. Anyways, we're not going to.
Anyway. He favored in this one, which is interesting. He favored by 3. They've kind of been struggling too this year. They haven't really looked. Do we think they were the best team in the East last year? I mean, technically, but not really. So, I'm surprised they look this bad so far. How are you looking at this game, and does it start and end with Jason Tatum again?
Yeah, very low exposure to this one. It's going to be a playoff type matchup where Jason Tatum's too cheap. I wrote that in my article today, which you can find at windailysports.com. He's a guy that he should be closer to 9,500 or 10K. And while people are saying, oh, it's not that much of a difference, it is. Every single $100 matters. So when you get up to these studs, it's not like if you're looking at a value play and you tell me Kelly Olynyk is 4,400, oh, he should be 4,500. Not the biggest slate breaker, but when a guy that's a stud is $500 to $1,000 underpriced, that's where you could really take advantage. And Jason Tatum is still underpriced in this matchup. Yes, you could tell me, oh, I'm scared of Bam Adebayo or Jimmy Butler, a combination of both on defense. Tatum torched them in the Eastern Conference Finals, and he almost averaged 10 rebounds. He averaged 9.8 rebounds on top of that in that matchup. So he's a guy that if you want to get a one-off from this game, I'm completely fine with playing the angle that Jason Tatum goes absolutely nuts for them. And barring that Kelly Olynyk is still starting in this lineup, I'm going to have some exposure as well. Just keep an eye out. Coach Spoelstra always ends up changing the lineup usually it's between the 3-man guard rotation of Tyler Hero, Goran Dragic, and Duncan Robinson. Now he's even rotating his forwards in and out of the starting lineup. So if Kelly O starts, it's another good spot for him. He's playing a ton of minutes, and at 4,400, he's not going to blow the slate wide open with his 40 points like when we had picked him back a couple months ago at only 3% ownership, but he'll be able to get there at 4,400.
So here we go. He's 9,400 on FanDuel. I think he's talking about Jason Tatum. Is that too expensive?
It's a little bit too expensive just because of FanDuel with the positional constraints. I prefer other studs there. But again, the thing with FanDuel is that especially if you're entering, let's say 10 lineups, the easiest way to get different is simply interchanging your studs. because a lot of people get so fixated on one stud because of how bad a certain position is, and the large majority of the time it's going to be small forward or power forward, and then that's when they're not going to play guys like Joel Embiid on a slate like this. They're not going to play like Russell Westbrook over there is way too expensive. I'm not playing Russ on FanDuel or DraftKings tonight, but that's another example. No one's going to play 10.7 for Russ when you could play 10K for Curry, and that's 100% the right decision. But just another example of how you could get different. You could interchange your studs there, and if you have two $5,000 shooting guards with Tatum and a $5,000 small forward, and then you want Bradley Beal instead of Tatum, well, you just find another $5,000 small forward, interchange him for Tatum, and then put Beal in your shooting guard spot.
Bang, bang. Ghost dropping some knowledge. And then Brown is shooting guard on FanDuel, 8,000, a good pick, ?
No, I rather go all the way up to Bradley Beal. I know it's $2,000 difference and it seems like a lot, but I rather go all the way up there.
Worth it. Olynyk still a locked cash play for 5K on FanDuel?
I wouldn't say a lock. There's a lot of good centers out there tonight, but he's definitely worthy. If one of your 5K players is Kelly Olynyk, as long as he's starting, you're good to go in cash. That's I'm okay with that.
Love it. DK single entry from Mark. What's up, Mark? Wall, Lou Will, Temple, Sabonis, Capella, Brogdon, Olynyk, and LaMelo. Your boy.
If you're going Sabonis and Brogdon, you need Harden in that lineup. I wouldn't go John Wall, because that means that the game's going to go absolutely bonkers, and that means James Harden's going to go nuclear. So I get it. You have Houston exposure in John Wall, but if you're going Sabonis and Brogdon, you just got to go all in. You got to go Harden in that lineup.
Got to go all in. All right, let's talk about these Knicks. Where's Ashley when you need her? Jazz traveling to the Knicks. Jazz favored by 8 points. So the Knicks are 8-point underdogs. I think this is tied for the lowest total on the slate at 213.5. We had the comment before. Julius Randle deserves some love. I mean, sincerely, this guy is going nuts. He has essentially almost become a walking triple-double. Now, I don't know if he's still playing defense, but do we really care? It's so much fun to watch when this goes out. Dude, him and RJ Barrett recently have been just absolutely lighting it up. Do you still like Julius Randle in this spot? That was super low total, unfortunately.
I wrote him up today. More in play on FanDuel. 9,500 on DraftKings is borderline ridiculous. Like, this is...
For what he's been doing, though. I mean,
I understand the production's there, and I love the guy. I've written him up on every single slate, and he's continuously low owned. That's fine. 9,500 with Rudy Gobert out there in the paint. This is getting out of hand now. This is like a purely large field GPP tournament play, where you're playing that main tournament that I believe on DraftKings it's $15 today with 60,000 people. You want to play Julius Randle? Go for it. He's probably going to be sub 5% owned, because everybody knows this price is absurd for Julius Randle. I don't put his production aside. I'm not paying $500 more for Julius Randle when I could get Tatum, when I could get Bradley Beal. I'm pretty sure he's even cheaper than Trae Young. Steph Curry's $100 more.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid's $400 more. And I'm just not naming some of the best players in the league. I'm naming some of the best players in the league that are also in great spots on this NBA slate. So low total, Rudy Gobert in the paint. I'm going to have very limited exposure, but he's a stud that you can end up playing in these really large field tournaments and be comfortable with. But this game is all around a fade for me. RJ Barrett, huge fan, obviously, for obvious reasons. But again, this is a spot where his price is just too much. These Knicks prices are getting out of hand. I'm not stacking a 1-2 punch where they've been in games where they have put up 83 points before. So, and not 83 points combined fantasy points. I'm talking the Knicks have scored 83 points in a game before. I'm pretty sure it's right down the screen against my Raptors. So,
yeah.
I can't do it. I'm here for the ceiling games when they're playing high-paced teams like the Hawks, like the Kings, no defense, Houston. I'm all for it. In a game like this, 11 games, you have to plant your flag somewhere, and this is an easy decision for me. Narrative alert, Donovan Mitchell is from New York, though.
Yes, so. His dad played for the Mets, which is pretty damn cool. Or like as a coach on the Mets. I can't remember exactly how it works, but it's still pretty cool.
If you want your narrative for tonight, Donovan Mitchell, New York boy.
We can play the coming home. I'm coming. Yep. That one. That's a fun one.
There we go.
Everybody loves to see that one. We have Detroit and we have the Bucks. Bucks favored by 12, and the over-under is sitting at 225.5. One thing that I've been seeing in Discord a lot, which has been making me laugh, is even in blowouts, Giannis still gets his minutes, and it's not even a question. So, do you think that's going to happen again? Again, we don't plan for blowouts, but when a spread is 12, Vegas is telling us something. This game isn't going to be that fun. So,
it's dangerous because I haven't checked to the exact, but I'm fairly confident in the fact that Detroit has not lost a game by more than 10 points this season. And that includes the game against the Bucks where they lost by 10. So I somehow, some way they keep it competitive. It's behind Jerry and Grant tonight. Derrick Rose is popping big time as well for the amount of minutes that he's going to get in that backcourt. Very nice. Mason Plumlee's price has come down at 5,500, and he's going to be going out there trying to guard the paint against Giannis and Brook Lopez and some other guys too. So only 5,500. Is he going to drop 20 points? Probably not, but the fact that he can secure 10 rebounds and he's been dishing the rock really well. He's been piling up assists and stuff like that. So he looks good there too. I'm not completely fading Giannis, honestly, like this. The price is really hefty, but he's been playing the minutes, averaging over 30 points in his last 3. His field goal attempts are absolutely through the roof, and his free throw attempts are through the roof as well. So just the fact that the volume is there for him, whether it's in extreme minutes or even limited, he finds a way to put up 20 plus field goal attempts, and that's exactly what we need.
Hey, so I'm not going to lie. I was paying attention to the chat, looking at the model, and also looking for a bet for this game, so I may have missed it. But did we talk about the number 1 value play on the model yet for this game?
You could go for it. It's okay.
Yeah, okay, because Derrick Rose is popping right now, and I don't know.
Derrick Rose.
The model's doing something, man. When the model says Derrick Rose is a 7 times value, you just, as Go said, you listen to the model. The model knows what's going on. Roosling, paving, and concrete. Yes. Thank you for telling everybody. I think we're trying to have a little theatrics with it, but we appreciate you for all your concrete and paving needs. Make sure to go to Roosling, Paving, and Concrete. I can't wear the hat over the headphones, so I have to just show it every time I do that, but appreciate you, man. I think it's interesting. Why is it? Why do you think the model is popping so hard for Derrick Rose today?
It takes so many things into consideration that I'd be on here for another couple hours just trying to explain everything. But it takes into account that the possibility of minutes being shifted around and certain injuries and guys possibly sitting out in different rotations and where the game could get out of hand and which players are going to still play and whatnot. So it definitely loves Derrick Rose right now. Everything could change. Anything could change on the blink of an eye. You saw it on back-to-back days when we were live on air that Bruce Brown all of a sudden was projected for 0 points because he doesn't play in the rotation. Next thing you know, 3 to 4 nets are missing. He gets the start, and he's the top. He was the top value on the model along with THT out there. Lakers season, THT season. So everything changes in the blink of an eye. Make sure that you're checking it, and it's pushing every 5 minutes at this point.
Yes. Yeah, I think we have another push coming in a second. So let's get back to some questions. So I missed this before from Roosling, Paving, and Concrete. For all your paving
and concrete needs.
We did so great yesterday. We did so great yesterday. RJ's only 6.5 on FanDuel.
6.5 on FanDuel. Like, okay, you could definitely do a lot worse, but
it's not the spot. I think that's what it is.
I'm paying 6.5 for somebody on FanDuel. I want 45.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want even 6x. It's like, okay, you get 36. If you noticed in the normal trends, like you need 400 plus to win a tournament now. You like, yes, it's nice to be able to, if you're trying to min cash or you're trying to cash, you want to play it safe. RJ Barrett 6x on FanDuel, plausible, not 100%, but plausible. I don't want 35 from RJ Barrett in that spot. I want 45, and I just don't see it in that game environment.
I think we could do a little better. Steph, Lou Will, Buddy Hield, Victor Oladipo, Otto Porter, Claw, Batum, Sabonis, Cousins.
We're going to talk about the Clippers rotation when we get to that game. I'm really looking forward to talk about that game.
Brian, we love Brian. He's usually in here chatting up, so we appreciate it. You only got 15 minutes of break left. Quick core to build around for Brian.
You can go high price guards. I would go Steph or Trae Young. If you're looking at a little bit cheaper, like $1,000 cheaper, the Levine, De'Aaron Fox combo is something that I'm going to talk about in a little bit too. Kelly O for value, PJ Washington, a bunch of guys from the model that are listed up there. I don't know all of them by heart there, but they're out there. Clint Capella, if you're running Trae Young, a good 1-2 punch in the pick and roll. Who else are we playing? There's a bunch of punts in the model too, but that's pretty much everybody that we've covered so far.
Enjoy that, Brian. Make some money with us. Roofing, paving, and concrete.
For all of your paving and concrete needs.
Seti Osman starting over Dotson. Roofing, paving, and concrete was actually the gentleman who told us about the Dotson news. Was that 2 nights ago? So appreciate that. Maybe he's onto something here. I don't know. We'll check the model.
We'll see when it updates. The last time this happened, Dotson ended up skyrocketing, so you never know.
Sexton, Okoro, Seti, Nance.
Yeah, that was somebody that I forgot to mention in the Cleveland game. Isaac Okoro was back for these Cavs. He's really cheap on DraftKings, and the kid could fly. So if you want to take a chance on somebody that's likely to get 30 plus minutes, he could get you 4 points. He could get you 40. But if you're taking a shot on somebody in that 4K range, he's definitely worthy.
Yeah, just to go to that point.
Yeah. For the person that just said that his first 2 games were meh. First game he played unreal, so just make sure that you take a second look at that. Second game he got injured, so that explains the snowflake there.
Brian called the ball sack last time. Yes, when the Ball brothers were in, Manscaped would have won a lot of money, so we appreciate them. Tonight is the chef and sous chef.
That's it.
Is that Duke
Chef
Curry? Well, Chef Curry and then Seth Curry, right? I'm assuming. Is that what he's referring to?
I would imagine that.
I like that. We need a new sponsor. Anybody out there that does something with cooking? Man, we do this on the fly, man. We freaking do this on the fly. You love to see it. DraftKings single entry: Rose, Valentine, Redick, Olynyk, Embiid, Curry, Leonard, and Williams. I know we'll get to the Clippers rotation, but how does it look so far?
I would just swap out Redick there. He's been going down in the model for the past 4 updates now, and he's gonna likely whenever I see that happening for 4 players, it's likely because he's gonna keep doing that. We were live on air. Adam pointed out Jokic went up 4 times while we were on air, and I think that turned out pretty well. So
I think it worked.
When you see players going down 4 times in a row, it's likely not going to turn out too well for them.
Smart is playing. Teague is out. Thank you very much.
You can fire up Pritchard again in this lineup, but again, now he's not playing in a high-paced game environment. He's going up against Dragic, Robinson, and Tyler Hero. Different ball game for the kid.
Pritchard last night too. We just have so many good calls. I hope everybody's making money, man. DK Cash, what's up, Trent? McConnell, Lou Will, Butler, Olynyk, Embiid, Rose, Crowder, Curry.
You can't play McConnell in Cash. He's another guy that's coming down the model a little bit. He's a good GPP play if you would like to go there and you need another guard, but I'm likely playing up at guard tonight, so I'm more so looking at the forward spots for value. People were asking me too, like, how do you read the model, and like, do you just sort by value? Do you sort by raw projections? It's obviously a combination of both, but even more so, you have to pick a spot where you want to pay up. So if you're paying up at a guard, you're likely going to need a value forward. So even though a guy like McConnell might be higher than a guy like Olynyk in terms of value, if you're playing Steph Curry, then your value play becomes Olynyk, not necessarily McConnell, because you don't want to handicap your point guard, shooting guard, and guard spots right away.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Wait, I want to get to this comment first. Good. I don't like JJ anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
That makes me laugh. FanDuel Cash, Young, Peyton Rose, Levine, Leonard, Porter, Batum, Olynyk, Capella.
We're going to talk about the Clippers rotation and what's going on with Kawhi there.
All right.
But the rest of the lineup is strong. I like it.
Let's get back to the madness at hand. Bang. Game we're going to Oklahoma City and the Pelicans. Pelicans favored by 8 at home. Another very low total. Second or tied for the lowest on the slate, 213.5. So not too much going on in this game. How are you liking this one, Ghost Man?
This is a game that I completely crossed off my list outside of Brandon Ingram. Again, we're talking about 11 games, so you got to plant your flag somewhere. I've even spoken about games that I've crossed off my list just because I try and give as much info in the limited time that we have on air. But this is a game that I'm completely crossing off outside of Brandon Ingram. I don't know. There's no deep analytics that really need to explain this one. Nobody's going to be able to guard him. They're so weak on the wing. Everybody's going to be concerned with Zion in the post. Al Horford's going to have his hands full. Yes, absolutely. But it's still Al Horford. He's a seasoned vet. He'll be able to, at least find a way to somewhat get the job done or at least survive out there. They do not have anybody to guard Brandon Ingram on the wing.
He is a favorite of mine. He was fun at Duke. He's a great
player. He's a great.
He is fun. Brian is back. I guess his
core locking Giannis. I'm not core locking him. No, he's not going to be in my main lineup, but I will have exposure. It really depends how many lineups you're running, bro. If you're going 3, I'm okay with 1 Giannis. Yeah, you don't have to full fade him.
No full fades here. No full fades here. All right, let's go to the Toronto Raptors and Phoenix Suns. This line actually moved while we were on air. It was 3.5. It's actually come down now. Phoenix Suns favored by 3, which is weird. How do you feel about 219.5 is the over under? How do you just feel about that line? That's a weird line, right?
No.
You're that unconfident?
I took the Boston line +6 against my Raptors.
But I mean,
they look like steaming hot dog doo right now. Like it's really bad. It's like
kind of hot down in Tampa Bay.
Like I keep talking about their defensive rotations. Until they figure that out, they're gonna get lit up. They need to figure that out ASAP.
Figure it out, Nick Nurse. You're better.
Really bad because they don't have. Again, like just to summarize from yesterday, I spoke about it for a while yesterday because we got to stay on longer, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But they don't have Ibaka or Gasol just standing there with their arms up anymore. And with Siakam crashing the glass, we said Jaylen Brown's going to have wide open threes and Jason Tatum's going to body the post. Word for word what happened. You have Jaylen Brown knocking down threes. Now you have Devin Booker in the corner knocking down threes. Like he's not going to miss. He doesn't miss those. He doesn't miss wide open threes.
Fred VanVleet did pretty good last time out. He was in.
Freddie's been balling. So this is spot more so. I'm attacking this more so on FanDuel. On DraftKings, there's just I find it like DraftKings is all about being a puzzle piece. Like you're able to get so many guys from the same position because of the either dual position eligibility or just having that guard and utility spot. So I made it crystal clear. I'll say it again that I'm paying up at a lot of my guard spots tonight. So I'm not finding myself in the VanVleet Booker range on DraftKings, but on FanDuel, Devin Booker's way too cheap at 7,500. Way too cheap. You could even get exposure to DeAndre Ayton. Hasn't necessarily had the best start to the season that everybody was expecting, but Aaron Baines and Chris Boucher are not going to be able to guard DeAndre Ayton. That's for sure. If you want a revenge narrative, Aaron Baines used to play for the Suns. If you want to go there, not necessarily recommending that, but if you want to make a lineup full of narratives and definitely have some fun, because after all, it's exactly why we do this, is to have fun. Aaron Baines at 3,900, going back to Phoenix if you want to ride that one out. I'm personally not going to go there. The minutes are way too low, but again, you want to have fun. You want to submit a lineup for 25 cents, for $1, something like that, and just have some fun with it. See if you can get some flames besides some 1% owned guys. Why not?
We're here to have a good time, guys. Come on. We're here to make money, but we're also here to have a good time. Let's move on. Clippers and the Warriors. Clippers favored by 2.5 on the road. Over under sits at a nice 230. So that's a nice pace up spot for us. Steph Curry at only 9,800. Didn't this dude just drop like 60 something points the other night?
Dude, this is what I was saying. Why are you paying 9,500 for Julius Randle?
Yeah.
Like,
just get Steph Curry.
It's really all about lineup construction tonight. Like,
they went bonkers last night too, huh?
He's playing out of this world right now.
He's going nuts.
He's going nuts. So
36, 31, 26, 62, and 30 real points. That's insane. Yeah. How do you go from 62, then your salary goes down?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you need to take advantage of this. You need to play him. Whether you should play him in cash, 100% on FanDuel. You need to play him in cash. He's likely going to be in my main lineup. He's likely going to be. He's when he gets on these streaks. And that's the thing with he's not, we talk about streaky shooters, like we spoke about JJ Redick before, and anybody guys like that, where when they're shooting hot, you kind of play them until they run cold. This is not a streaky shooter. This is the best shooter of all time. And now he's shooting like this. You play the man. Like it's that simple. So you really have to play this game in two different angles. Paul George is now trending to not playing. That one was kind of a wrench out of left field there. I did not expect that. I was expecting Kawhi to sit this one out, Paul George to come back in. But then I was worried because it's a game on national television. They could get fined. Kawhi could get fined. Now people are possibly saying like, oh, hey, they could just play Kawhi 5 minutes and then sit him out to not get fined. The players union would have an absolute riot if they did that. So that's not happening. They're not going to do that. They'll either sit him out and eat the fine, but they're not going to try and cheat the way out of it by playing him 5 minutes and then sitting him out. So I would play this one two different angles. You could go with guys like exactly the two that you put on the screen, Lou Will, Luke Kennard, and end up going with the value, possibly even Patrick Beverley. Let's just get this clear. Is Patrick Beverley going to drop 40 points every night? Absolutely not. So if you're chasing that game from yesterday, don't do it. He will not do what he did yesterday probably ever again this season. Like he's grabbing 8 rebounds, 8 assists, dropping 20 points. Like that is not Patrick Beverley. So let's just get that clear. Like don't be chasing Patrick Beverley's game from yesterday. It's not happening. So You could possibly play 2 out of those 3 guys and play the angle where, the Clippers end up just playing their bench for longer periods of time, because it's not like they could play Kawhi for 5 minutes and then send him out. That's not happening. So whether they play him for 25 instead of 35, that's a possibility. So you really have to take a stand and see where it's going. But I'm expecting a bit more news following up to log. This is a prime spot where you can late swap. Mm-hmm. So if you want to talk about getting different in your lineup, people, you even hear my voice, you don't know which way you could take in this game. People are just going to avoid it altogether. That's a big mistake. There's a lot of potential in this game. You just have to be able to take a stand, make one lineup with value guys, make one lineup with Steph going at Kawhi the entire time. Paul George is trending to out. If you want to be safe, put Kawhi in your util spot. And then that way, if Paul George gets ruled in and they pull another 180 on us, swap Kawhi out for Paul George. But this is going to be a fun game.
Bang, bang. Just get
also forgot to mention Nick Batum. You can get exposure to Nick Batum. I'm sure people are asking about him. Minutes are there. He's getting the job done. Is he going to put up 40 plus every single night? No, absolutely not. But at 4,900, especially if one of Kawhi or Paul George sit, minutes are going to be there and the value is going to be there.
You'll love to see it. We have one more game and then a couple questions. So let's just get to this last game, and then we'll hop to the chat and get the rest of the questions. Chicago and Sacramento. Sacramento favored by 7 at home. Over-under sits at a nice 228. We know how much you love Zach LaVine and De'Aaron Fox and Kobe White and maybe a little Buddy Hield and Halliburton. Oh, he's questionable. That stinks. Markkanen is out. How you liking this game? This one might be fun.
I love the 1-2 punch of Zach LaVine and De'Aaron Fox in this one. Both these guys play really fast. They turn the ball over a whole lot. They love buckets in transition. Shout out Zach LaVine for that step back 3 dagger yesterday. That was absolutely nuts. That was really, really nice. So he's playing well, getting wins for his team. That's exactly what you love to see. And I think this one ends up being a little bit tighter than 7.5. That's for sure. De'Aaron Fox and Zach LaVine is my favorite 1-2 punch in the mid-range. That we're not talking about the Steph Currys, the Trae Youngs, the Joel Embiids, anybody up there in that 9.5 to 10K range. When you get them both underpriced by at least $500 to $1,000 each, I love this spot for both of them.
That's not bad. All right, let's go. We'll go full screen. Well, before we get to the questions, because there's a bunch out there, we do have to thank our sponsor, Manscaped. Support for Win Daily is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over the technology developments to provide you with the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created, and just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. Their third generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology pioneered by Manscaped. And when I tell you premium, I mean premium. The battery lasts up to 90 minutes, so you can take a very nice long shave. You can take that shave in the shower because it is waterproof as well. You could even take that shave in the shower with the lights off if you're into that, because there's also a sweet LED light which illuminates all the grooming areas that you need. And the charging stand's pretty sweet as well. Put it in your downstairs bathroom. Let everybody know. Show off your mower loud and proud that you cut your ball hair with Manscaped. So if you're listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. Trim that junk of yours. Get 20% off and free shipping with promo code WINDAILY at manscaped.com. Get 20% off, free shipping, promo code WINDAILY. I almost got it. Promo code WINDAILY at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using promo code WINDAILY. I promise your balls will thank you. I love it. I always have so much fun reading that, honestly.
We could run a model refresh. I just got the text that I went through. So Gary Clark.
You're gonna say it?
Might be Gary Clark season. We'll see. I don't have it in front of me. You tell me.
Derrick Rose is still up top. Let's just scroll down. Kelly O's popping. So all the questions about Kelly O, he's definitely been popping. I'm over here on the DraftKings side of things as well. Dude, your boy LaMelo is popping as well. Almost at 6x, I think. Oh, I know what happened. You put in that he was going to get that triple-double tonight, so that makes sense. You just manually entered that in.
I don't touch anything. I swear to God.
Yeah, Gary Clark is looking pretty damn good. 3,200, popping at over 5.5. So That's not bad.
Keep an eye. This is where the decisions are made in the next 30 minutes. So for anybody that's listening that's also has Discord open, this is where all the money's made, pivoting to guys like Dotson, THT, Bruce Brown,
LaMelo.
I can name LaMelo. I can name them all in the past week that have won us a ton of money. So this is it. You got to keep refreshing.
All right. So I am going to go back to the questions. Trent, what's the best way to build to be flexible around the wood news? Good question.
You would have to go double center in that case. If not, given that it's the first game on unless you're leaving like right now and you're not available 30 minutes before lock, which I wouldn't recommend, but it's the first game on the slate, so we should be able to get news early enough that you're able to make your swaps. But if you want to play on the safe side, you have to go do whatever you got to do. Just don't play him, or you could play a double center lineup where you have Wood in the utility spot. But again, you have to swap him out in the next 29 minutes because it's the first game on slate.
Yeah, I think Trent was it Trent eating last night dinner? That kind of screwed him a little bit. So I understand you have a family, wife, kids, you want to eat dinner. Model keeps popping up Jay Crowder. I've seen it. Thoughts?
Whatever it likes, that's what I play.
Listen to the model, people. Just listen to it. Sexton, Oladipo, Osman, Gordon, Turner, Rose, Middleton, McGee, the big 55,000. Thank you. Yeah, try and specify what you're in, because I know that will change Ghost's mind, because the plays are different. Big 55,000 person game.
Too many Cavs. This is not the game that you want to stack for it to go to shootout. You have Sexton, Osman, and McGee. Like it's way too much, and plus the Pacers that you have are not even the main guys in Brogdon and Sabonis. So not saying Depot or Turner can't get there, they can, but if you're going game stack, you want the big guns.
Roosling Paving and Concrete
for all your paving and concrete needs.
Sorry to go backwards. The model doesn't like PJ Washington. I am upset
because it knows he sucks. It wouldn't do that to me. I was like,
model knows,
trying so hard not to play him, but.
Trey or Curry, the model likes Trey better.
You know my answer then.
Just watch the model. Let's see. FanDuel GPP, Curry, Fox, Depot, Rose, Hunter, Seti, Thompson, Gordon, Capella.
See if you could swap Thompson for Olynyk in there.
Love it. Sabonis good for cash play 8,800 on FanDuel, or spend up somewhere else?
Let me check ownership. Let's go to the next question. Let me check his ownership.
Let's Cousins is starting. Boogie is starting for their injured. Wood just tweeted.
Yes, I mean Wood is likely out altogether. They wouldn't make him come off the bench. So
yeah, it looks like he's going to be out. Boogie is starting.
Bonus is good to go in cash. He's coming in as one of the highest owned players on FanDuel. Really depends what your lineup construction looks like, but if you land on Domantas Sabonis, I'll never say no in any kind of contest. And for cash, he's good to go.
Roosling Paving and Concrete. They both have. So he's not seeing Gary Clark on the FD models. So
I'll double check it out.
Yep. Do we lock Boogie in now?
No.
No.
You got exposure,
but
you don't
have to. Yeah. How much are you going to play?
You get exposure, but you don't have to lock it. This is a matchup where he's going up against Miles Turner. He's going to be up in his face. We saw him get ejected in 2 minutes. You can't make lineup decisions based on that, but this is still a guy that's getting into shape. Check them all to see how many minutes he's popping for, and I'll make my decision based on that, like any other decision I make.
Makes sense. Thoughts on Batum? I think we're in on Batum.
Yeah, I already covered that. He'll get you there. 4,900. He's cheap. Just maintain the news. If somehow like crazy door number 3 option where Paul George and Kawhi are both in, then I'm not playing Batum.
I like it. All right, Brian is back. I promise this is like either the longest break ever. He refuses to go on break.
There's a lot of guys that I'm not on there. Reggie Jackson, Justin Holiday. Dwayne Bacon is okay, because of how cheap he is. It might be like a THG like last night, right? Like even though he only has a 15-point output, the fact that he's minimum price, you might be able to get him in there. That's okay. I would just come off Giannis in a lineup like that and you could save roughly $2,000 by going to one of the other options and then upgrade Dwight, Justin Holiday, Reggie Jackson.
Upgrade. That's it. That's all our questions. So this was perfect timing. Ghost has to build the rest of his lineups. I only put in like a couple, so don't worry about me, guys. I'm not too worried, but Ghost is the 150 that he's got to go in. Thank you very much to Manscaped. Again, manscaped.com, promo code WINDAILY. Thank you so much to Ghost. Thank you for everyone in the chat. This is my favorite part. All right, last question. Is Boogie too risky for cash then 4,100 on FanDuel?
You go Capella on cash on FanDuel. He's coming in ridiculously high on. Doesn't matter if he puts up a 0 or he's putting up 100. You need him in your lineup because if he does put up 100, you're going to be dead in the water if you don't have him.
100%. TJ McConnell. Yes.
Whatever the model says.
Yeah, the model says TJ.
Just keep in mind he's been going down. He's been going down the past four cycles in a row that I've gotten notifications for. So
pay attention. All right, I'm only doing this because we love it. Fox, Brogdon, Rose, DiVincenzo.
So Tatum, Valentine. Yeah, that's good.
Love it. All right, that's it. Thank you guys so much. Really do appreciate it. Again, our NBA season pass still exists. $150 for 7 months, about $20 a month. And I promise Ghost can make you much more money than that. Make sure to follow him at DFS_Ghost. Follow me at Michael Brazil1. Follow us at Win Daily Sports. Thank you very much to our friends over here at HNB Media TV. We appreciate them and we're glad to be partnering with them. And that's all I got. Thank you again to Manscaped. Manscaped.com, promo code WinDaily, 20% off. Shave your balls, everybody. Thank you all so much. Enjoy the night.